All right, let's jump right into this explainer and unlock the secret to decoding those ridiculously dense academic texts. If you've ever found yourself totally overwhelmed by a massive textbook, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're tackling Lesson 42, Reading for Cause and Effect.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You stare at a page, read every single word, get to the bottom, and realize you remember absolutely nothing. It's a completely universal struggle. And you know why that happens? We forget because we try to treat facts in total isolation. We try to memorize 100 different disconnected data points. But here's the thing. Academic texts are actually built on invisible links. Our sources point out this totally fascinating cognitive reality. If you immediately try to store every single raw fact into your long-term memory, your brain would be completely swamped by unimportant information. To actually learn effectively, we've got to find the connections.
So here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, the hidden links in texts. 2, spotting the language clues. 3, when effects come first. 4, tracking complex causal chains. And 5, visualizing with X-ray vision. Let's get into it.
Okay, Section 1, the hidden links in texts. Let's see how this builds our foundational understanding of how textbooks are actually put together.
Before we can start spotting patterns, we really need to nail down what we're actually looking for. So, at its most basic level, cause and effect is just a relationship where one event, the cause, makes another event, the effect, happen. Like we said, if you try to just hoard every single fact you read, you'll drown in the noise. But hunting for that cause and effect, that literally filters out the noise. It gives the information a logical structure, like a real reason for being there. It takes this random, boring list of facts and turns it into a compelling story of why and how. Let's look at a sentence pulled straight from our academic sources. The invention of Braille revolutionized reading for blind people. It is super simple, but really powerful. The invention of Braille, that's our cause. The revolution in reading is the undeniable effect. So when you read a sentence like this, your brain shouldn't just file away Braille and reading as two completely separate mental flashcards. No, you want to store that dynamic link between them. Moving on to Section 2, spotting the language clues. Every good detective needs clues, right?
In academic texts, writers use very specific verbs, connectors, and nouns to literally signpost how their ideas connect. The vocabulary actually shifts depending on the direction of the relationship. If a writer is moving from cause to effect, they're going to use verbs like lead to or result in. But if they start with the effect and are pointing backward to the cause, you're going to see verbs like stem from or because by. And the exact same thing goes for connectors, right? Therefore propels you forward to an effect, while due to pulls you right back to a cause. Once you get a feel for these categories, these little words will start jumping off the page at you like glowing neon signs.
Which brings us to Section 3, when effects come first. Okay, let's dive into a plot twist that trips up even the most focused learners. We naturally expect text to read in chronological order, like first the cause, then the effect. But in academic writing, that is absolutely not always the case. Take the phrase, asthma typically causes wheezing. Super straightforward. Asthma is the cause, it comes first, and the effect, wheezing, follows right after. But what if the text says, wheezing is caused by asthma? The effect is sitting right there at the very beginning of the sentence. This is where you have to rely on those language clues we just talked about. That passive verb phrase, is caused by, is your key to finding the truth. The grammar literally flips the order of the phenomena. If you aren't paying close attention to that verb structure, you could easily and incorrectly assume that the first thing you read is always the cause.
All right, let's scale things up in Section 4, tracking complex causal chains.
As you advance in your studies, these relationships get a lot more complicated. Think of a causal chain just like a row of dominoes falling. Let's say step 1 is heavy rain. The rain is the cause that leads to step 2, the effect, heavy flooding. But the story doesn't stop there. That heavy flooding actually becomes a cause itself. It causes step 3, disrupted transport, which in turn acts as the cause for step 4, huge business losses in the area. So, when you're reading a paragraph outlining something like this, you aren't just hunting for a single cause and a single effect. You are mapping out an entire chain reaction where A causes B and B causes C.
And finally, Section 5, visualizing with X-ray vision.
This all builds into what I think is the ultimate technique for your studies, translating these dense paragraphs into visual, chronological diagrams. Imagine being faced with a totally intimidating textbook paragraph about astrophysics. Your first instinct might honestly be panic. You see terms like electromagnetic radiation, nuclear fusion, and gravitational energy. It's a lot. But this is where we use our X-ray vision. Instead of getting totally bogged down by all that heavy jargon, you just scan the text for those cause and effect verbs and chronological markers. You're looking right past the flesh of the text to find the skeleton.
By tracking those sequence markers, we can actually extract the exact chronological life cycle of a star and turn it into a simple, memorable flowchart. All of a sudden, astrophysics isn't so scary, is it? We can clearly see the chain reaction. Gravity attracts atoms, which causes the cloud to collapse, which converts energy, which increases temperature, which finally allows nuclear fusion to take place, resulting in a radiating star. Just by pulling that sequence out of a wall of text and dropping it into some bullet points, you have completely conquered the material.
This right here is your secret weapon. When you extract these causal chains, you're no longer just passively reading. You are actively mapping out the text. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you're studying history, biology, or economics, drawing out these flowcharts pretty much guarantees you'll actually understand and remember the material. Because you aren't just memorizing random facts anymore. You're fundamentally understanding the mechanics of how those facts interact with each other.
So what are you going to decode next? The next time you open a textbook, I challenge you, don't just read the words on the page. Look for the hidden chains. Hunt down those linking verbs. Keep an eye out for when the effects come first, and draw out those flowcharts. You officially have the tools to decode any text. Thanks for joining this explainer, and happy investigating.